good. They just. I know, right?
Can I get back in this picture? I go again.
A Leon will deal with you according to how available you are. And some of you are always available. Empaths are open 24/7. You actually developed something. You know what you developed? A disability. Anxiety, heart failure, headaches, migraines, ulcers. Your menstrual cycle is off. The longer you stay with my demonic spirit, all you do is make the demon stronger. That's it. And you wonder why you feel so drained and so weak at the end of the day. Because you're giving your all to something that will never give their all to you or someone.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't see you for some reason.
You disabled my camera states on this side. Okay.
Tobias, can you get him back up?
There we go.
Hello. Welcome.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome everybody who will be watching or is watching. We're going to be talking about a very important topic. It's an honor to have Mr. Leon Walker Jr. on this platform, a motivational speaker. Are you a life coach?
You know, I don't call myself a life coach or motivational speaker because I don't give myself any titles. Other people do, but I was put on this path spiritually, and I'm still working on myself spiritually. So I consider myself a helper, a deliverer of good thoughts, positive energy. And so I never go with the status quo of, life coach or motivational speaker. I don't. People can call me that, it's fine, but I just deliver positive energy and what's on my mind. Yes. I give people my heart, my soul, my spirit, and how I became this person. It wasn't easy, but yeah, that's how I introduce myself as such.
Okay, appreciate it. Well, first, let's start by saying I want to make it plain, we are not therapists, but we are everyday people who are living the human experience with the desires to live our best life. So we're using our stories to help other people. And I think sometimes that's the best, that's the best way to do this. Because when you can understand, if you don't understand what a person is going through, you really can't, the empathy is lacking a lot of times,
Yeah, I like that a lot. So we can get started whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So I first want to talk about the definition of a narcissist. All right.
Right.
What I came up with is a narcissist, and you correct me if you want to fix anything, but a narcissist thinks very highly of oneself.
Yes.
Extreme self-centeredness and
right.
self-absorbent.
Right.
Fantasies involving unrealistic goals, an excessive need for attention and admiration, and disturbed interpersonal relationships, believing others are inferior and lacks empathy for others, fixated on their own needs.
Right.
And an empath is a person who has a particular tendency or ability to enter into psychologically identify with the emotions, thoughts, or attitudes of others.
Right.
Hypersensitive on others' needs while neglecting their own.
Yeah.
And I love that opening video that you that we played of you. You broke that down so well because I've lived it. It's been my experience. So I would say there's a root system to everything. And in order to heal effectively, we must go back to the beginning to get an understanding.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So Leon, where did all of this start for you? In our initial meeting, you had mentioned something about your mom and your sister. Is that what you want to build on?
Yeah. So it all started for me, and people have heard this before, but it's new to a lot of people, but it started for me in many ways, being molested at age 5, right? And people like, there's no way that doesn't happen. It happens. It happened in 1970. I was 5. Okay. It's happening now in 2022. Right. Those were my babies, my female cousins. And through my journey from reading, I'm sorry.
I said, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I didn't even start talking about it until I was 47. So I was acting things out, my anger in my relationship. So other women were punished because of what my cousins did to me years ago. So anyway, and then it went on from my cousins to my babysitter who took my virginity at 8. Before that, I was shown porn at 7. So I became addicted to porn. I became addicted to women at an early age. And sadly, I fell in love with my cousins. And so, well, lust, because I didn't know what love was. I thought that was love. I didn't know. And so it started then. And then I would see my mother and her mother argue and fight, actual fist fights. And so the men in my family were treated like royalty. The women fought often, argued, disagreed, put us up on a pedestal, took care of us. And so I became this kid that was lost, confused, damaged, hurt, dysfunctional. And from that became my norm. You know, the hurt and pain just set in my spirit, if you will. I should have gone through therapy at 8 years old. I never told anybody that I was molested. I never told anybody that I had lost my virginity at such an early age. I never told anyone that my uncle was touched me when I was, I think, between ages 10 and 12. And so I developed anger issues from that. So I developed lust from my cousins and babysitter. I developed greed from my cousins and babysitters, and these were women. I developed anger issues from my uncle. I developed a sense of being discarded when we lost our home and I was 11. I blame my mother for that, although my father had a lot to do with that. My parents were great parents. And so I had a lot going on before I was even in the 7th grade. So people talk about narcissism, they talk about psychopaths, sociopaths, whatever. It develops in your childhood. I didn't realize I was neglected and or abused until I was 47 when I went into therapy. Black men avoid therapy. I have a lot of friends right now that avoid therapy, and I know what's going on with them. I can't diagnose people. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or psychotherapist. I'm not even a social worker. But they have the same traits that I have, yet they're not in therapy. They don't think there's anything wrong. But I talk to them, I deal with them, I hang out with them, I help them. But black men, when I was in the Navy, my white friends would say, "Hey, Leon, I'm about to go check into therapy, man. I got to get this going, man. It's making me and my family better." And I'm like, "Therapy? You crazy?" I would never talk about therapy, ever.
Right.
But the white men go, black men, not so much. I went into therapy 3 times. In December of 2014, August of 2014, I walked in and I walked out. In December of 2014, I went into a psychotherapist's office and I was standing there staring at her breasts because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. And she said, "You don't take this seriously, do you?" I said, "I really don't." She said, "Well, you can leave." And I left. And so had I not gone into therapy in January 2015, I would still be like this 56-year-old thought. I would be. Because I sat down with a little white lady and she made me talk about my family, made me discuss the things that I was never willing to talk about. I was embarrassed to talk about being molested and touched by a man at 10 years old. That I couldn't talk about that. So that's how it all started. And it just got worse and worse.
Can I just ask something about that therapy session what was the moment when you finally took it seriously? Like you said, you were staring at her breasts. For you to go to follow through with the sessions, that's the step that has to be taken. At what point did you take it seriously?
So what happens is, and I tell women this, and I tell men too, because men are abused and neglected. Men are gaslit and ignored and given a silent treatment and love bombed too. So what happens if a man or a woman decides to go into therapy, it has to be something connected to their growth, development, and their ability to do some different things later on in life. Okay. For me, they said, "Well, if you don't check into therapy and stay, we can't process your paperwork for retirement. You need to get your diagnosis, whatever it may be, Mr. Walker, because there's a disability attached to that, whether it's narcissism, sociopath, psychopath, anxiety, PTSD. Regardless of what it is, you have to get diagnosed before we can process your paperwork to retire.
Wow.
And at that point, I was at 31 and a half years. And so it was like either drop out of therapy, which I did twice, or stay in there and so that I can get my disability. I wasn't married at the time. I was 9 years removed from my marriage. So the men and women that don't want to go into therapy, they don't go because there's nothing connected to the success of their therapy. They won't go and say, you know what, I completed therapy, so now I can keep my family together. That's not, sadly, that's not good enough, because some women will keep a man and some men will keep a woman, even though they don't go to therapy. They just become addicted to it. That person becomes a drug to them. I became a drug to many women. And so why would I go into therapy? This is before therapy. Why would I go into therapy if I'm still attracting women? I can still hold a deep conversation. I'm still being awarded, rewarded. I'm still being promoted. How could there be anything wrong with me? But there was a lot wrong with me. I was really good at work, but I wasn't good in relationships. So people don't check in and stay into therapy because there's nothing on the other side to make them want to keep or hold on to it. For me, it was my retirement.
Wow.
Had they not told me that, you would still be talking to a 56-year-old hoarse old man.
Wow. Wow. So there was not many people around you who made you accountable.
No, yes, there were people around me that made me accountable, but I didn't like being held accountable. That was part of my dysfunctional mindset. That was part of my personality disorder. I didn't want to be told what to do, especially by a woman. I didn't want to listen. Right. So I listened to the men that fed and catered to my ego, the pimps, the hustlers, the athletes, the womanizers. Those are the ones that helped me feed my demonic spirit, not women. Women tried to take me away from that. Remember, my norm was dysfunction. My norm was arguing, fighting, drinking, and sex, and then start over. So why should I listen to someone that couldn't do that or didn't want to do that or thought that was dysfunctional?
Right.
If a woman told me that, Leon, you're dysfunctional, yes, she was right, but I didn't like the fact that she was right. I hated being wrong. But I had to realize that I was slowly dying on the inside. Like all these other people that, have the narcissistic trait, the narcissist, MPD, psychopaths, whatever they are, they're dying on the inside. I've always had headaches. I've always had nightmares. I take pills for nightmares to this day. And my nightmares are like getting caught cheating, being in a car accident with other women, getting somebody pregnant. And I've done all of that. And I shouldn't be sleeping with this woman. And, I've had nightmares about this. So there was a video I watched about this lady was talking about her boyfriend having nightmares, waking up. I wake up with cold sweats, not as much now, because spiritually and through talking to people like my cousin and women in my family, the strong women in my family, I grew up around a lot of strong Black women. Okay. So I knew better. I just chose not to do better. Right. And so my violent nightmares were horrible. They got better and better the more I went through therapy and the more I started helping people. But I'd wake up like you would think I had just walked out of a swimming pool. It was that bad. So I said, man, this is, my sheets were soaked, my pillowcase, my blanket. So I had to get up in the middle of the night and change everything. And it kept happening. It didn't stop until I started wanting to get better for myself. So people think that we don't have karma. We do receive. And karma is not a good term for it, but people don't think we get our payback, but we do.
Let me ask you, back to the beginning, you shared how you were taking out your anger on women because of the abuse that you experienced from your cousins. So it was after that point, like, can you pinpoint the time when being a narcissist began for you? That was when?
So what happened was there was a time where I was afraid of women. And I didn't like it because I knew I was afraid of women.
Yeah.
So I had to create this kid, and it happened when I was a teen. I had to create this kid that was like lustful, that knew how to do everything to a woman. I studied a woman's body. I wanted to know her body before much more than she knew her body. So I could take her to different levels of success or different levels of fear. Okay. Taking her sexually to a level of fear where she couldn't understand or wanted to do it, didn't want to do it, was unsure, but needed it. And then later would like desire me even more after I left. I studied their bodies to do that to them because I was very vindictive. I held everything against my cousins, but the women that I dated and married had to pay for it in some kind of way. And so I had a lot of insecurities. So I had to mask those insecurities by manipulating their mind and their emotions by knowing their body better than they knew it.
Yeah.
So it all came out when I was 21. We had one of the ships got attacked in the Persian Gulf in 1987. If you look it up, it's the USS Stark. May 17th, 1987, we had to go to where it got attacked May 17th by 2 missiles. Anyway, the next day we arrived in the Persian Gulf to help them. So I went to the ship with my fire team. We put out one small fire. We discovered 37 men that were burned to death. So I felt myself at that moment, like when they talk about we lack empathy, I know what empathy is. I have to know what empathy is in order to manipulate your mind. Empathy means I understand how you feel. I felt that way. Or I understand how you feel. Others have felt that way. Me, I understand how you feel, but I'm not going to tell you I ever felt that way. I just understand how you feel. So me knowing how you feel, I can manipulate how you're going to treat me. Right? So anyway, back to the story. After we retrieved the dead bodies and took them off the ship, we were sent to see a psychiatrist. I was 21. And instead of the psychiatrist talking about the events that just transpired, we were in Hawaii at the time. So I was sent to see a psychiatrist for my first time. Instead of talking about the events, the tragic events, we talked about my childhood. And at that time, I had a girlfriend that I was planning on leaving, wasn't going to tell her. I ultimately left her and came back and got her back and then left her again. I destroyed her. And so it went into, what was going on in my mind, my personality disorder. And we had hours and days and weeks of discussing that. So he never talked about the tragic events of me retrieving those dead men. So that was why they never diagnosed me with PTSD until I was 48 years old, but they diagnosed me with the personality disorder and anxiety and all these other things at 21. So I suppressed it. I ran from the Navy. I got out. As much as I loved the Navy, I was able to run away. As much as I was attracted and addicted to women, I was able to run away. So my discard started at age 11 when we lost our home and I was sent to live with another lady that I didn't know, but it got worse. It got worse. And so my discard became a comfort zone for me to run away. And in therapy, I learned about avoidance, escapism, and being emotionally detached. So a lot of men out here that you see, a lot of women that are emotionally detached, they're just nothing more than a simple Leon. I can't diagnose people, but I know who they are.
Right.
Through their conversation, their actions, their inactions, I know who they are. And so that's how it all started at 21. So I suppressed the diagnosis. I suppressed the term, the meaning, looked it up, and never said anything else about it until 2021.
Wow. That's pretty recent.
Yeah. So what happens with me is, and this is why I respect women so much, is that my friend Nancy Manning told me that it's going to always be 2 women that's going to change your life. And it's always women that takes me in this direction and that direction, up this way, never down. As much as I hurt women and misuse and abuse women in my life, women always come on my path to help me. And so a lady last year that I was dating, very beautiful woman, internal and external, she was well versed on narcissism. She was well versed on all kind of mental issues. And she said, you need to start doing videos about it. And she actually broke up with me, rightfully so. That's what I get.
Gave you a gift. She gave you a gift and got out.
She gave me a gift, and I appreciate her to this day for that. So I did
so many people.
Yeah, and I did a video on it June of last year, and it went viral, and it scared me because ghosting and giving a silent treatment and cheating and deceiving and lying, that was easy. That was fun to me. What women and men don't know, the men that are dealing with the Leon, female Leon, it's a thrill to cheat. It is. That's the only way I can explain it. It's wrong, okay? It's dysfunctional, but it's a thrill. So that's why Leons, myself, and other Leons, female, male Leons can't love, don't want to love. I do now because I understand it through therapy. But everything comes after the thrill, okay? Love, care, empathy, sympathy, it doesn't exist because the thrill is so powerful. How could it not be powerful if I plan to sleep with 3 women in one night? That's a thrill. I'm not going to love anybody. I'm not going to cuddle with you after we have sex. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to caress and I'll kiss you. I'll touch you because I want you to be addicted to me. I want to become your drug. Okay. And it wasn't hard because I And the lady called me a predator a couple of years ago. I was on a radio station. She said, "You're a damn predator." Sorry for cursing. But she was right, because I'm going to activate your attachment style, and I'm going to activate my detachment style. So I'm always going to run away from you, and you're going to always chase me, because I talk to you and I touch you in a way that you've never been spoken to, or touched before. That's why I tell women, be careful what you tell people like me.
Yes.
Because I'm going to use it against you. Now, let me be clear. Go ahead.
No, but I was going to ask, actually, you're going into what my next question was going to be. Why is it that women, I guess, like you said, it's not just a man or a woman. Being a narcissist is not a gender.
No.
It's right. So why do you think the empaths gravitate to the narcissist? And I think you're touching on that a little bit.
So let me be clear. This is all who I once was. I'm not this guy anymore. They say we can't change, but we can make exchange, whatever. So anyway, what happens is, with the empath, you have a need to make me happy. Okay? You have a need to support me. I have a need to want for you to make me happy. I have a need for you to support me. And it feels good to me, and it feels just as good to you. You can't stop giving to me. You can't stop taking care of me. You can't even stop protecting me. But I can stop everything that you're doing for me, because all you're going to do is be there, because you're reliable. You're going to be there. I can trust you. I'm not reliable. I'm not going to be there all the time. You can't trust me, but I'm your project. As an empath, I'll become your project. And when I become your project, you're afraid to let me go. You are. You're going to hold on to me. You're going to cry. You're going to weep. You're going to do drive-bys. You're going to stalk me. You're not going to hurt me. Empaths don't hurt people. And I know this. I've dated plenty of empaths. You don't want to hurt me, but I don't care about hurting you. And because here's the thing. Oh, baby, I'm a little dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? I was molested by my cousins. My uncle used to touch my balls. My babysitter raped me. My brother showed me porn. And you're like, oh, Leon, and then guess what? You feel sorry. So your superpower kicks into high gear, and now you want to protect little Leon.
Right.
Okay? You're not going to talk about me. You're not going to put me down, because I am your project. You're going to handle me with care. You're going to be very gentle with me. I'm 5'9", 225 pounds. I'm manly as hell, okay? But I'm dysfunctional. I have mental issues. I have mommy issues. I probably have daddy issues too. And the fact that you know that, I'm going to trigger you in a good way. I'm going to activate your empathic ways. And there's no way you're going to stop doing it. You can even catch me with another woman. You can see me cheating. You're not going to run away, because you are invested in me, and I'm invested in you being invested in me. And that's all that matters.
Wow. And what's funny is you're telling your story, and you and I didn't talk about this before the show. Everything you said was pretty much everything that happened to me from childhood. I was molested by a cousin, a neighbor. Everything was sexual abuse, and there was physical abuse. But it's so funny, because as an empath, you stifle your own pain.
Yeah, and so you chose to go inward. I chose to go outward. I chose to not care anymore. Sympathy, empathy, I couldn't give a damn about either one of those. Sorry for cursing, but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Where you chose to go inward, and I was like, I'm out of here. And in therapy, it's called avoidance. In therapy, it's called emotional detaching. And so, you know what else I learned in therapy? I learned I'm lying. That's a lie. I learned through a recruiting school that I went to. I learned how to emotionally disturb people. Salespeople emotionally disturb people. So they could be narcissistic, they could be sociopaths, psychopaths, whatever. But once you learn how to emotionally disturb people, that's why I tell women, don't be so open and honest when you first meet a guy. And you better not go on a date when you're horny, because you're going to turn into a one-night stand.
Right.
If you gotta take the edge off before you go out, do it. And I guarantee you, your emotions will subside. Your emotions will be reduced drastically. If you go on a date and you're horny, guess what? Your nipples popping out, and now you're drinking alcohol, and your legs getting a little jittery. You know what I'm saying? Your heart's pumping. You smell my cologne. You like the way my beard is trimmed up. You like my bald head, whatever. Don't run into a Leon, because now you're going to turn into one night stand. And guess what happens when you turn into one night stand? I lose respect for you. Again, this is the Leon prior to therapy. And it took me years after therapy to start to really adjust to this and want to do right and want to respect women. I couldn't respect women if I didn't respect myself. Okay. I had a lot of insecurities. I hid a lot of things. And so I tell women, be careful. You know, I talk to people all the time. I do my videos, and it's coming from my heart. I am very vulnerable and transparent. Years ago, you couldn't get me to do this. It was not going to happen. Because I said, if I start telling the truth, then they're not going to like me anymore. That's still not true. I've had women tell me, Leon, you activated my kinky side by talking about your personality disorder. And so I don't go into that. I had women tell me, you're just doing this for supply. I wouldn't dare do this for supply. Listen, I didn't choose to be on this path. Right. A woman that was connected to God, deeply connected to God, and another woman that was deeply connected to God helped me, put me on this path. So how dare, if I was to do something against what God has me doing now, I'm done. I know that. I fear that. Before, I didn't fear God. I was in love with the devil because the devil gave me what I wanted, or what I thought I wanted, what I needed. A bunch of women, a bunch of sex, a bunch of porn, and a bunch of damn lies. So it made me feel good. And being successful in the Navy just made it, to me, even better. But I was dying for years.
Yeah. You just mentioned choice. I know I had some questions, but I'm kind of being led in a different direction in some areas. We talk about choice. We talk about choices. And are you saying you didn't make a choice to be on which path? On
this path.
For health? The choice of being healthy? Were you choosing to be the narcissist?
No. I dove into that. That was like my personality disorder. I'm saying I didn't choose to start talking about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was recommended that I do it. And so I did it.
That's awesome.
And it was a woman that, recommended I do it. And then other women recommended.
But that also proves, a lot of people say that narcissists can't change. The fact that you even were open to making that step to become
I got tired.
I
told you, if I didn't listen to those women, if I didn't go through therapy, I'd be a 56-year-old horse man. I got tired of it. And it's a tiring life, because if you're not who I am, you don't understand. People hear that psychotherapists and psychiatrists, psychologists, and social workers, they'll never change. I can go back to being who I was within seconds, okay? Whether it's anger issues, whether it's lust, whether it's greed, whether it's manipulation, being vindictive, is giving a silent treatment, gaslighting, ghosting. I can do it just like that. They're correct. But do I want to do it? No. I don't have the heart or the nerve to do it anymore. Like I told you earlier, it was a thrill that superseded love, empathy, sympathy, connection, chemistry. But there were 3 women that I had chemistry with, and I backed the hell away from them because I felt myself getting too close. And now, so I can talk all this stuff. I can hold a deep conversation, but I didn't know how to love her. I didn't. And so my parents loved me as best as they could. I remember a lot of it, but after 6th grade, it was over. My dad took me in, my sister and I, and my mom couldn't do so much because she started getting high. So I became very masculine, and so did my sister, okay? My sister's not gay. That's not a gay thing at all. She just became rough and tough because she was always around men.
Right, she had to protect herself. Because she's probably been abused, as well.
Yeah, right.
Let me ask you this. So, see, like all the things you're saying right now, there are some people that's been calling me since they knew about the show and writing me, and they're like, a narcissist will say whatever it is that they think you want to hear.
Exactly, they do. Yeah, I did. Yes,
right.
Because I'm going to model you. I'm going to emulate you to draw you in, to stay closer to you, to impress you. Right? She's 100% correct. That's why I tell women, be careful what you tell a Leon. Okay, I say a Leon because there are a lot of people out here like me. They say 70% of men are and 30% of women. But I see that changing because these kids nowadays, they lack empathy, they lack sympathy, they don't care about love, They don't care about chemistry or connection.
Fucking all over the place. There's like no lovemaking.
No.
There's no sacredness in being in intimate, committed relationships.
I didn't want to hear intimate. I didn't want to hear commitment. Those words drove me nuts. We're gonna be intimate. I'm gonna give you 37 seconds of love or sex, or 37 minutes, or whatever it is you require. But after that, I'm out. There's no more connection. When I finish, my feelings come out of my body. It was just that simple. And so women was like, Leon, you don't cuddle? I'm like, it was like disgusting to me to cuddle. I felt like I was being smothered. I didn't want to hold hands because I felt like I was being smothered. I didn't like hugging because it felt like I was being smothered. The only time I like hugging is I was hugging a woman that was top heavy because I got a thrill out of it. She didn't know it, but I did. Maybe she didn't. You know, I wanted to smell her perfume and feel her breast against my chest. It was just a sickening, you know? And then I got to the point where after therapy, I didn't want to hug women. I would hug them to the side because I didn't want to be turned on. I had to say, I can't fight this. Let me hug her and see what happens. And I did. And because I had people praying for me, you know? For years, I never prayed. I didn't believe in God. I didn't want to believe in God because I didn't want to get myself together. And so I thought it would take too long for me to get myself together. I didn't know if God would accept me. I had no idea because I spent so much time with a double mind and a demonic spirit that I just being dysfunctional felt normal to me.
Right. And two, I love that you're being so open and honest about your path and your choices. But have you gotten to we're going to take Q&As in a minute. We have some people who are here, but have you gotten to the place where you're allowing yourself to be kind to yourself? Yeah.
So it feels much better. Okay. I pushed and pushed and pushed myself so that I didn't allow myself to commit to any woman. I remained distant, right? Off-putting. And I didn't know how good it would feel to be kind to myself, to let my guard down.
To love yourself.
Yeah. The first time I let my guard down was in January of 2015. And I went in the office, the therapist, she said, Mr. Walker, I'm not going to hurt you. And I was like, well, is that how I look? She said, yeah, you come in here guarded. She was the first lady. I dated and slept with many women, and I'm ashamed of that. But she was the first lady, little bitty short white lady, like 4'11", 110 pounds. She wasn't attractive at all. I don't call people ugly, but there was one thing that appealed to me about her. She wore all black. So it kind of turned me on because she looked gothic. And I was always, in my mind, when I started therapy, I was like, I always want to, sleep with a woman that was gothic, the dark eyeliner, like dark world, dark sex. Just take me down there, But she was older, little frail lady, and she looked like a little old librarian. So I was like, soon as I got over that gothic like turn on, I looked over, I did. And so it's like, okay, you can't be in here tripping, dude. I'm talking to myself. Right. And she walked in, she's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. And I was like, damn. So I had never had a woman tell me that I can remember. Yeah. I always thought it would hurt me like my cousins and my babysitter hurt me. Okay. So I was always on guard. Like, I'm gonna hurt you first. I'm gonna break your heart. You get to my heart, I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna call you names. I'm gonna discard you. I'm gonna ghost you. Because if it happens to me, Char, I didn't know how to handle it. When my mother discarded me, I didn't know how to handle it. Oh, okay, Leon, Double is my nickname. You're gonna live with Irene for a year. I'm like, who is Irene? So I'm enough of the discard. Ain't nobody gonna discard me anymore. So anyway, I get into therapy and she said, Mr. Walker, I'm not gonna hurt you. And that's when first time I started letting my guard down. That's when I started feeling good about taking care of me,
Awesome. Well, we're gonna open up the questions. Do you ladies want to come on screen? Welcome. I don't know who wants to go first. Does anybody want to come on screen? Hello, Jennifer. Hi, we need to unmute you. Hold on 1 minute. Oh, there you are.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I made it back for most of it.
Well, here, meet Leon Walker. I think you already.
Hey, Leon.
Hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
And your question?
You know what? You and I have been talking about how narcissistic relationships can affect your other relationships, like your friendship.
Yeah, family.
And that was one of the things. one of the things my best friend and I were talking about is how it affected her and I relationship but the thing that I wanted to know is, do narcissists, and in what way do they set out to affect those relationships with your friends? Like, what's your end game and why?
So the end game is to control and dominate and have you to themselves. They want you to believe everything they say and do. And because you're going to have your girlfriends in your ear, or your uncle, your dad, or your brother.
Right.
I wanted to like isolate her from that. Although, because I knew they knew who I really was. And they're going to tell her some things, and she's going to come back and tell me because it happened. And I'm like, your brother said, what? He don't even have a girlfriend. Your daddy did what? He used to beat your mama. So I had to reverse it real quick, boom, right? Yeah. And I had, like I mentioned earlier, I had to emotionally disturb her about her side of the family, about her girlfriend. Like, how you gonna listen to your girlfriend and she done had 2 abortions? You told me everything she told all that stuff. So I boom, bam, boom. Because if I sat there and reason with her, now it's a possibility that I'm gonna lose her to somebody that I don't like or care about, her friends or family. So I had to isolate her. It was like a physical, come here, girl, get over here. It was like,
no, it's not like that.
Right. So it's like I had to think before her, because I knew I knew when a person looked at me and looked me up and down, like, I don't like him, there's something about him. They were right. I didn't like what they said, but they were right. And so my girl kind of started feeling like, well, Leon, why do they say these things? I had this happen to me a lot. Leon, why are they saying these things if they're not true? I'm like, I don't know. Why you gonna listen to them? You know, you chose me. I'm here with you. I could be with somebody else. Is that what you want? Start reversing gaslighting and all of that stuff. Reverse psychology. So yeah, they do it because they don't want to lose. I didn't want to lose her as my project until I was ready to discard her as a project that I wasn't interested in anymore.
But you know, an interesting thing that my friend said is that narcissistic relationship changed her. He said it had an effect upon me. And I just thought, I don't even know if he meant for it even to go that deep. It affected her. It changed her too.
Yeah, it'll change. So what happens is you start believing, say you and I are dating. You start believing in me more than you believe in your friends. I can give you more than they can give you. Although they can give you the real, you want what I have, which for me, coming from you, is not real. It's very shallow, superficial, and it's only going to last for a few months. And then you go, oh, wait. But you know, the mistake that women make, you all are invested in time in a relationship. I could care less about time in a relationship. Now it's different. I spent 24 years, 12 years married, and 2 6-year relationships. Walked away from all of them. You all, after 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, some trips here, sex here, dinner here, meeting your coworkers, you don't want to let go. So now you're going to start settling and dealing with me. It goes from attraction to selection. Now you selected me because of the time invested. Women are big on investing time in a relationship, not narcissistic people.
Yeah, because one thing that he did say is he said, I started formulating he was speaking in general. This was after the fact. He said, I started formulating my plan the moment I meet somebody. Everything you tell me, everything I observe about you, everything I see, I'm building on what kind of person I want to be. And so what was even said to me was that I even had to change the way I dressed around you.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it happens because if I come in dressed in a certain way and you're like, I'll change that. But best believe once I start changing some things for you, you're going to change more for me than I'm going to change for you. Because if I'm changing for you, now I'm losing power in a relationship. I'm losing my voice in a relationship. So now I got to get that back. And once I get it back, it's going to be 10 times worse than what you did ask me to change. I'm going to ask you to change your hairstyle. You can lose some weight.
I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that. You're going to get what you got.
We're at that place now.
I ain't changing a doggone.
Right. Back in the day, I can see how it was so much easier for us to adapt and to adjust for a narcissist. But now, I think because we've been doing the work and we're more aware. We're going to take another question, and we have some questions from, thanks Jennifer for that. Thanks for coming in. We have some questions on YouTube. So Sandy, would you like to ask yours now? She's still there. While we bring her in, let me read this really quick. Oh boy. So Marva Williams, she says, hi, CHAR and Leon. Thank you both for all the good information you share. I am an empath and dealt a lot with narcissists. I have cut a lot of ties or have limited access boundaries with others. That's awesome. Leon, anything you want to say on that?
She did the right thing, because empaths they'll do harm to themselves unknowingly because they don't like to give up or quit. They don't like to walk away. They're
Right.
gonna be trampled on. They're gonna be used, abused, but their heart is so big that it won't allow them to stop being abused by somebody that's taken from them all the time. So you have to cut ties. The thing about cutting ties, once you do it, don't look back. You can't feel good. You can't feel bad about it. So she did the right thing.
Good for you. Congrats, Marva. Britt Brat says, I want to be with my narcissist baby daddy. He doesn't get anything from me, but will have me come over and ask if I've moved on, but he's not making any moves or promises to the future. What is your advice?
The mistake she's making is contacting him and then going over. He has her to come over. I'm not mad at her. I'm just saying, I pay attention to people's words. He has me to come over. So your ex-boyfriend, your baby's daddy, you spend your gas, you get up out of your bed, out of your house, and you go over to him. He should be coming over to you. First of all, the moment you get up and he texts and he calls, you come over, he wins every single time.
Every time.
And if you got a baby with him, if he hasn't married you now, he's not going to marry you, young lady. Stop going over there. Stop popping up and being at his every beck and call, you know?
Yes.
Don't do it. Because all you do is feeding his ego, and he's not going to change. The more you go over like that, the more he calls you, he has you to come over, the more respect he loses for you.
Well, did he even have respect? Did he even have respect? Right.
You're easy, very reliable. I'll call her. She'll come over. She didn't say the party. She goes over and they may talk, or he may break her off and send her home.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Stop going over there. If he can't come see you, then you shouldn't deal with him. If he can't come pick you up with the baby and take y'all to dinner and try to get the family together, stop going over there and doing favors for him. Narcissistic people love money, favors, and sex. Period.
I mean, empaths love those things too, but I think we don't take advantage of somebody.
You love those things too, but it's also, you love those things because I love those things. You love them because if you're not with me and I hurt you, I broke your heart, and we have chemistry, and you really love me, you're not going to do those things to nobody else. You can't move on. You can't. So you do those things. Okay, a woman will have sex like that for a man if she loves him. Even before her mind and body connects and it starts to get ready to actually have sex or make love, she'll do it. Hey, baby, let me come over. Let me hit that. You know, boom. All right, hey, she come over, give me some, you know, whoever. But she'll do it, and she may not even enjoy it. But she's doing it for me, not herself.
I read an article recently where it says, the hookup culture, where this young girl went out to some bar or something, club, and she was on a date, and she said she wasn't attracted to the guy. She didn't feel like kissing him, but she gave him a blowjob, just like that. Just like that. I was like, wow. But okay, one more question before we move on. Clack and Shimmy, hello. Bree, nice to have you. She says, being an empath is a burden for me. I sympathize with your trauma and I applaud you for your transparency. It is not easy. It's not an easy thing to admit. Yeah.
It's not. And so I've had women that, called me names, say, you son of a bitch, you make my skin crawl, Leon, you trigger me. I can't stand you. You remind me of my ex. I get all that. But I wasn't ready for that last year. And it kind of like made me, take a step back. But I thought it just, I can be transparent and vulnerable. It'll be cool. I could do. No, I have to remember that I heard a lot of women. Yeah. I gotta pay. So when people think this is hard for me. The videos, interviews, it's hard. All the stuff I did in the past, the ghostlighting, the gaslighting, the ghosting, that was easy. But this is hard. People say, I want to be transparent and be vulnerable. You got to be ready for it. I wasn't ready for it, but I'm good now.
Yeah.
and more people, you know, more now than I did years ago. But thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes. You know, let's talk about that. The ghosting and the silent treatment and the hovering. What does it really mean? Like, can you, for the empaths, because I don't want to keep saying men are doing this to only women, because it's both ways. So how does an empath recognize? It's like, okay, there's a story of someone that I really love and care about who had this experience. It's, just broke up from a long-term relationship, and it ended abruptly, and she's trying to get back out into the dating scene. And there was somebody, she's on a dating app, and her and this guy were having a great conversation. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, just a few days, gone. And it really kind of, she's an empath, and it tore her up. But explain that? What is that about? I feel like it's to break, it's just to break her spirit for whatever reason.
What happens is,
she's a powerful woman. She's not one of those that's easily bendable or breakable, you
right.
know? So for that to have affected her like that, I was really, really surprised.
Because first of all, empaths need to realize when there's a lack of reciprocity. That's your first sign. There are many other signs, red flags and all that, but when there's a clear lack of reciprocity and you're giving more than you're receiving, there's a problem there. But in the beginning, narcissistic men will say things, do things. The motivation and energy, more than anything, is always into the sexual part, the seduction part. So when you're sexually providing for a woman and she's enjoying, she's loving it, she becomes very uninhibited, right? She lets her guard down. She may not spend much time with her children after the months going by. She may start, like your friend just came in, she may just start not spending time with her girlfriends, taking more days off of work, spending more money on him. One thing about me, I didn't want a woman's money. I would pride myself on that, but I was breaking their heart and spirit and soul. So I was just as bad as somebody taking the money. Mm-hmm. But when she met this lady he's talking about now, she had high expectations of him, and she believed and trusted in him. She told her truth, but he didn't tell his truth. She was just dealing with, like you all say, a representative of who he wasn't. That representative is the attractive part that women love and they like who's Leon? He said this, he's doing this. In the beginning, I'm going to show up on time. I'm going to show up early. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to hug. I'm going to cuddle. Might get you some flowers, plan a great weekend, but it doesn't last long. And now you get all locked in, and women have a hard time detaching. They have a hard time letting go, especially empaths. And so now I disappear because you know what? After a few months, now I got to really be real about loving you. I can't love you. I don't know how to do that. I lied to you in the beginning. Okay. And lying to you, no big deal to me. But it's like, how could you, Leon? And I've been asked this question for years. Leon, how could you just lie like that? I never had an answer. I'm just like, I just did it. Because I know that you like me more than I like you. And because I lied, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to get mad. You're going to argue. You're going to turn your back to me. But all I do, if we're in bed, I wrap my leg around you, kiss you in the back of your neck, and you turn around, and here we go, starting all over again. And then women like, I just can't. Now then I become your drug, okay? So I tell women, if you go to therapy, it's not just therapy and you out. A lot of women go into therapy and then they go home and sit right next to the person that put them in damn therapy. It's not working. You have therapy and then you have rehab, okay? Your rehab is, you shouldn't have sex with me anymore. You shouldn't buy me any gifts. Although you're an empath, save that for the neighbor. Do a good deed. Don't give me anything because I'm going to hurt you over and over and over again. If you're in therapy because of me and I'm not going to therapy with you, we have it's called relationship mismatch. You want the help you need. I don't want the help that I need. Okay. You're getting better and I'm remaining the same, but you actually remain the same because you're still with me.
Yeah.
So the rehab part is finding some a hobby, be around people that love and care about you, be around people that want to celebrate you and see you win. You can't be with me after therapy and then come back home and think this is going to work. It's not going to work because I'm going to turn it all around back on you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, yeah, you need to be in therapy because look at me. I'm not in therapy. I'm doing good. You over here struggling with life, you know, blah, 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 blah. No, therapy, rehab, get away. You can't be with me. I'm no good for you.
So tell us like the top 5 things as an empath who's in a relationship with a narcissist. What are the 5 things they need to do to get out? Like make them accountable, make us accountable. Well, I'm not in an unhealthy relationship anymore. It's taken me a minute. I'm taking a while to love myself, heal my broken places. So I'm not going through all that. You know what I mean? But it took me a while to leave the narcissistic relationship I was in. What are the 5 things you can tell them?
First of all, you have to realize that
this is for men and women who are empaths.
First of all, you have to realize that you are slowly changing and becoming who I want you to become and not who you should be. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're doing everything for me. You're not doing anything for yourself. Realize how sick that you really are. You're dying on the inside. You know, if you're dealing with a Leon and you're empath, you're trying to break away, you have to realize that your heart rate's up, your cholesterol levels up, your blood sugar levels up, you're losing your hair, okay? And like I did in the video, your menstrual cycle is off. You're not the same person you was when we met 3-4 months ago or 2 years ago. Relationships with your friends is starting to dwindle. Your kids notice that mommy is unhappy, mommy's crying all the time, okay? You have to realize your health is a concern now. You have to realize that I am not going to marry you. And if we are married, I'm only going to get worse. We're not living in holy matrimony. I don't even have a relationship with God. Check that out. Mm-hmm. So your health is declining. Your spiritual life is declining. Your finances are declining. You're not getting any better. Your family notices the changes in you. You're not happy. You're not going out. You sit at home and wait on me. You don't go to family functions. You might even miss some doggone funerals. And you're not growing. You're not growing at all. You remain the same. And some women and men remain the same for 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm. So number one would be acknowledge how sick you really are. You
better acknowledge, because here's the thing. You know how a couple has been together for 50 years and then one of them dies? The other one dies not long after that. Mm-hmm. If you're with me for 5 or 10 years and I leave, you may be physically alive, but spiritually you are dead. So death is imminent upon me detaching from you, because you held on, even though I cheated, even though I called you names, even though I put you down, I haven't taken you on trips, I haven't celebrated you, you holding on to hope. And I tell women, stop hoping and wishing. It does nothing for you and nobody else to hope and wish. I wish they wouldn't even came up with those words. I hope he gets better. I hope he comes back. What kind of positive? That doesn't have any kind of positive energy to it. It's not connected to anything. I wish Leon would get better. I wish Leon would talk to me. That doesn't mean anything. So women and men, I hope she come back around, dog. You know, I hope she sees I'm looking better, man. It doesn't do anything. So you have to realize that once you latch on to me and I'm already gone, we've been together 5 years, but I left 4 years ago. I'm just with you physically.
Right. Or he wasn't really there, or they weren't really there in the first place.
No, I wasn't there in the first place. I don't know how to love you. All I have is lust and greed for you.
Right. I want to say that someone was making a note that you need to stop yelling. I don't want you to stop. I want you to be who you are, because you're being expressive. But I understand what this is and where this is coming from. I'm not trying to suffocate. I know the yelling and all that is a trigger for some empaths.
I understand that.
We've lived with it. So anyway, so number one, acknowledge how sick you are. Number 2, what would you say the number 2 thing for them to do?
The number 2 thing is to realize that you are losing people around you.
Okay.
You notice it. Your kids don't talk to you as much. you come home with him or her, they may go to the bedroom. They may not bring their friends over. People don't invite you to places anymore. So realize that you are losing your support.
Yes. Number 3.
Number 3, it could be realize that the relationship is not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, they don't love you. You love them. You're trying your best. And if you keep doing it before you know it, when he's gone, when she's gone, you'll never want to love anybody ever again. And number 5 could be, you don't even have
an escape. And number 5 should be an escape plan. Get the hell out.
An escape plan.
Get out.
So with that being said, part of that is develop a new hobby, develop new friends, a new circle. Get back with your children, reestablish a relationship with your family. That's part of the rehab. After therapy, the rehab, reestablish a relationship with your friends, your family, your kids. That will help you get out.
Yeah.
And stay out.
Yeah.
And women, you can see that once you get away from a Leon, your skin clears up. Some women even lose weight or gain weight. They get their teeth done. Their hair looks healthy, right? They're not drinking as much. They're not smoking as much. Their vision is clear. Their eyes are clear. They're happier. They have like they have a glow. You want those things more than you want that food back. Okay, and that's like you said. The 5th one, have an escape plan.
Exactly, because that's the ultimate. You're never going to get better until you get out. You can keep wishing and hoping, but if the ambiance, the energy that's in the room, that's in the home or whatever, it's always going to keep you down. I'm talking about what I know.
Right.
Experience,
Right.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think you experience such pushback from men?
From men? So with the men, it's more like they don't respond, they don't comment. There's a few. I feel as if it's because I'm a mirror to who they are. I feel so that's why I always say Leon. This is Leon. You're dealing with the Leon. This is me. This is who I was. This is what I did. Leon. So I don't throw Greg or Larry under the bus. I'll never put a man out there like that. Or a woman. I don't say Lisa did this or Karen did this. But it's because I'm a mirror to them. They don't want to hear it. They don't like it. It's the truth. The truth hurts. And so now it's like, oh, this dude giving my girl knowledge, man. She sent me the video of this fool. I ain't listen to that. I hear that. It's not a lot, but I hear that. But I'm okay with it, because if you want to go on this path with me, I'll help you out, man or woman.
Right.
Because they don't realize what I've gone through in life because the way I treated women, I've gotten punished for it and I still get punished for it. It doesn't just go away. But the men are like, so if I was putting women down, specifically Black women, because I've born and raised around Black women and I'm Black. White women, Asian women, Latin women too. But if I was putting women down, they would be all about that. But
just
I'm
like
not
that guy. Who's the guy that just died?
Kevin Samuels.
Yes. I could not stomach watching him, the way he devalued women. I was like, really? And his following was incredible. But that's why I commend what you're doing, where you are exposing the lies and you're facing truth. That's
all I'm doing. And so if a man doesn't, I get it. Man, I had a friend that called me the other day. He said, you know what, man, I was wrong, Leon. Because he used to get on me about my videos. He'd get mad. He said, man, I thought you were bashing men. And he told me this last year. He called me last month. He said, man, I'm sorry, bro. I get it now. I'm not bashing men, Char. I'm not.
No,
if anything,
you haven't said anything. You haven't.
If I'm bashing any man, it's Leon, period.
And the fact that I think you verbalizing your journey and your path should help others to see themselves. Because a lot of times they get stuck in the cycle where it's just like you said, a norm. It's just your normal. And not until somebody says, hey, you know what? There's a better way to do life. Then when they have the desire, it just clicks.
Yeah, well, when they're not stuck in the cycle, they want to be in that cycle. I was the same guy. And
Sure.
so me, it's like, man, you tripping, man. I'm stuck. No, you're not stuck. I know you're not stuck. I stayed there. I remained there because it felt good to ghost women. It felt good to lie. It felt good to cheat. Like I told you earlier, that was a thrill for me. That's why the love, I didn't want to love anybody. I didn't know about love. I didn't care about love. There was no love trait in my body. If it's there, I didn't want to find it, right? So the thrill of cheating and lying and ghosting and gaslighting and love bombing, that was a major thrill to me, and nothing else mattered, because you know why? Because it worked.
Yeah, wow.
As long as it's working, and you want to talk about love, and I tell you, yeah, I love you, baby, and you stay with me, and we go on these weekend trips, and we sexing all around the neighborhood, why should I change?
I mean,
that mindset.
That sounds really good. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
For real, it sounds really, really good. And if I was in a weak mindset, I can see how it's so easy to fall in that, because empaths are lovers, and you do the right things and say the right things, and you draw them like a fish, you're going fishing. Let's see, hold on 1 minute. Let me ask you this before we go on to our next Q&A. How you're rebranding, like you said, a Leon, you refer to yourself as the Leon, the narcissist. In order for you now to move forward in a healthy way and to experience the good parts of life, the good parts of relationship, the good parts of living, how will you rebrand yourself? Because I don't know,
This is who I am, Char. There's no rebranding. This is who I am. And so
but when you say this is who you are, who are you?
Right. So the guy, the man that has cheated, lied, misled, deceived, abandoned, kicked to the side, forgotten about women, the man that has done a lot of wrong, hurt a lot of women, right? The man that has gone into therapy. And don't think just because I went into therapy, it clicked right there. No, it took months, years. But this is who I am, the guy that made some exchanges, the guy that realized that I was very dysfunctional. I was hurting all the women I dated and married. Everything that happened to me in my past with previous relationships, I took them to my next relationships. And there was no way that my relationship could survive with my mindset. So,
I'm so sorry. Before Sandy, don't go. She's been holding for a while. She had a question for you. I want to pick that back up. Sandy, you want to come in real quick? Is she gone?
Yeah, she left.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I'll read her question after you're finished. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the guy that I am now is the guy that understands. I have clarity now, wherewithal. And my therapist told me, because I couldn't love, didn't know how to love. She said, well, you can love things about her, Leon, whoever she is. So there's things that I look at a woman now, when I'm dating, when I get into a relationship and get married, I know how to embrace what my future wife has. If it's like, I know it's not, and it's not going to always be something sexual. It could be her smile, her forehead. It could be her, the way she has eye contact, the way she leads me. I'm not afraid to be led by a woman, certain things. I can do that. The way she listens, the way I listen to her, the way I might get excited when I smell her, when she comes around, I want to meet her at the door when she comes to work. I didn't do those things. Honestly, I did them just to lure a woman in, the love bombing, but I never did it and meant it like for her to stay around. So I am the guy that, I want to make some changes in my life. I want to apologize, and I have been apologizing, and I'll probably be apologizing for the rest of my life. So I have to have this energy to talk to women, and some of my buddies men that I led in the Navy and used and abused and put them down and talked about them, this is a man now that you see that I know how to apologize.
Can we hear you? How does that feel? Like, can you say it? Can we just hear narcissists actually be able to say those words?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't. Now, so it could come with, I screwed that up, baby. I'm sorry. I don't know how I wasn't thinking, or it could be like, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you're saying. I never wanted to say I didn't understand something that hurt, that killed me. I didn't want to say I don't know how to do that. I would lie first, then go figure out how to do it and then come do it. And like, see, I know how to do this, that was childish, But the guy you're talking to now is, I mean, I can apologize and mean it. I can listen and not say anything. I don't have to be the center of attention and know everything all the time. And I don't have to be dominant and controlling and domineering. My ex-girlfriend told me, she said, you were very controlling. I got mad because I'm like, I'm paying the bills, I'm doing this, I'm scheduling weekend. I'm not controlling, but I was. Because the weekends wasn't for her because she was special. It was because something I wanted to do. I never looked at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy you're looking at now is, you know, I understand who I was, I understand who I am, you know, and it's like, I want to be better instead of like being okay with not being better. It's like, I don't want to, you know, I was okay with being average and mediocre, who I am right now. I thought I was like the best thing that ever happened to every woman. I wasn't. And 95% of the time, I was the worst thing that happened to every woman, you know, but I couldn't admit to that. And I can admit to it now because of therapy. And I was able to go into therapy and let my guard down and not be so afraid of hearing bad news.
Yeah. Let me ask you, so just go on a journey really quick, a scenario. If you were in a relationship, do you know what your triggers are?
Yeah,
You know
my
what I mean?
trigger.
Like, because giving that woman that comfort and knowing that I'm safe with this man who was once this, but he said he's this now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that women won't believe me. I get that. That's what I get. That's part of this journey. Like, you know, yeah, in the past, women, you know, you could get any woman you want, or I thought I could. But now women are like, oh no, I ain't dealing with you. I heard about you, you know. And I have to understand that. I have to expect that. In the beginning, when I started being honest about this, it hurt because women like, ew. I tell them, you know, or they see a video, it's like, oh, you make me sick, you know. But yeah, if my thing is, my triggers are somebody that's not fair, you know, the yelling and screaming like I did earlier. I wasn't being mad yelling. I was trying just being passionate.
Yeah.
The triggers are things that I did to women that could possibly be done to me, you know, the silent treatment, the ghosting. I don't want that.
Oh my God.
It can happen, and I'm sure it will happen, but those are triggers. So I have these reminders coming to me that, hey, I got to deal with it because I put it out there, you know? So it's not like because I went through therapy, it's all washed clean, or I have a better relationship with God, it's all washed clean. It's not.
Right.
I gotta, you reap what you sow. And so I gotta, you know, plant some different seeds, but remember that the other seeds are growing and they taller and stronger and bigger, and I gotta see them. You know, they're bigger, stronger trees, you know, bigger, stronger plants. Like I gotta see this stuff and I planted that, you know, it's there. Here it is coming, it's growing. But I just have to plant different seeds now.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know what? Let's pause and just talk to the narcissists out there who are watching or who may see this. I mean, what can you say to them?
What I can say to them is that you're not going to get away with it forever. You're going to hurt one day, and you're going to hurt bad, and you're not going to have the strength to get out of that hurt and pain. I've gone there already. You're going to be silenced. You're going to be like me now. It's like I'm like, hold on. It's like I'm visible, but not visible, you know? I'm hidden in plain sight. And so now it's like I'm here, and women like, maybe it's because they see my videos, hear my videos, or maybe it's just like I'm being kept away for whatever reason. But you're gonna have to face, for you all out there, narcissists, you're gonna have to face the people that you hurt. It's coming back around. And it's not a promise, it's life. It's the laws of reciprocity, if you will, maybe, of what you haven't done in the past, what you haven't done right is coming back your way. The universe sees all, God sees all, understands all. So you can't just do things and scram and hide and get away. Like you didn't hurt people, like you didn't break somebody's heart, like you didn't break up a marriage, like you didn't break up children, like you didn't give your children the silent treatment. I did that too. And I'm dealing with that now. My kids don't they come back around slowly, a little bit at a time, but I get the silent treatment now. So for those of you out there that are Leons, you don't get away with it. You need to get some help. You need to get some therapy. I will tell you this, there is something wrong with you, whether you're diagnosed or not, whether you just have a few traits or not, there is something wrong with you. Stop being unfair. Stop being hurtful. Stop being cocky, arrogant, self-centered. Get rid of that grandiose mindset. It's not all about you. You know, you don't have to be right all the time. You don't have to win all the time. And in that, you don't have to hurt people, because they say hurt people, hurt people. But now I like to say that heal people, heal people. This is what I like to do, you know, and I hurt people before. So I'm on a different level now. And I don't look down on people that are like me, or that have been like me, or that will become like me. I'm here to help them, because I understand everything they're about to go through. I understand the reasons why they're doing the things that they're doing. And a lot of it, most of it, if not all of it, starts in their childhood. So if you have any problems.
Exactly. I was going to say that we're all victims.
Yeah.
I don't think any baby is born with a choice to become these, you know, narcissists or an empath. I don't know. I think we all also have to address that we have a tendency to be both narcissist and an empath. It's in us.
Well, it is, but it depends on which way you choose to go. And so we're not born this way. It happens because we become a product of our environment. Exactly. People that are bullied, people that are raped, people that are sexually assaulted, people that are beat up, people that are sent to orphanages, foster care, all those things. And you develop this mindset of, like me, I was like, oh, I'll never go back to that little boy that cried, that peed in the bed. I didn't brush my teeth. I started taking baths, stopped taking baths. My parents got divorced. So I became used to being dysfunctional, dirty, down and out, unhappy, sad, crying. And so I changed, and who you talking to, who you speaking to now is who I become. But prior to therapy, I was just, monstrous. And it was like hidden. You couldn't tell. So I didn't look rough. I didn't look tough. I may look mean sometimes. But no, we become this by virtue of a product of our environment.
Yeah.
And some people go, you chose to go within, I chose to go without, outside. Like, it ain't happening. I'm not going that route. I'm not loving anybody. I don't want any kids. I don't want to be married. I did get married. I had kids, but I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know how to be a husband.
So that's interesting that you said you were loved by both your parents. Mm-hmm. So the example, you feel like they loved each other, so you didn't go down that path of loving. Instead,
right, because I saw it. You got to remember, from age 5 to 11, it was only 6 years of my parents loving, being together. And so remember, in those 6 years, I saw violence too. Was he violent to your mom? Yeah, I saw violence. I saw alcoholism. I saw loving. I saw caring parents. I saw dysfunction.
Pause for a minute. That's deep. I was just talking about that, because I find myself having to reassess what I know about love, what love looks like. Mm-hmm. Because the man who fathered, not my biological father, but my sister's father, that's a whole nother story. But he loved me and I could feel it. But I remember him being physically abusive to my mother.
So you said that you could feel it. I couldn't. My father did great things for us for a very long time. And my mother did great things for us. But I had the mindset that my mother stopped doing great things for us when I was 11. So I was mad at my mother. And so the trust I had for women went away. But my mother did a lot of more things than I thought, that I remember. And I started thinking about it, and she did a lot. But when the divorce hit, it wasn't about love. It was about survival.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. And so I resonated more with hate and anger than anything.
It was a lot of trauma. And back then, we didn't know how to talk about anything. Our voices were suppressed. Right. We don't do that. We don't talk about those things.
Right. We don't.
All right. We have some more questions. First, well, I think you already answered this, but Sandy's question was, what do you get out of triggering, or what did you get out of triggering an empath, but I think you answered that. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it was a thrill. I got, maybe it was laughter. Maybe it was to see if she's going to do more. Empaths don't quit. They just don't. It was to see if I can do something wrong and she would still do for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was very abusive because it was like a little boy and his mom, the mom that doted on me, that wouldn't do any, I couldn't do anything wrong. So I wanted to emulate that in the woman that I was dating that was an empath. My mother let me get away with it, so why shouldn't you let me get away with it? You're not going to fight me because I'm going to be louder than you. I'm going to curse more than you. I'm going to be verbally abusive more than you. So after a while, she's going to stop fighting. So it was just a thrill of conquering and controlling, which that's very distasteful, despicable. I couldn't dare do that again. I don't want to go down that path anymore.
Okay, so the next, that leads into the question. Jennifer's asking, do you still assess women in your head when you meet them? And that even though you're only thinking, wait, hold on, let me see if I'm seeing. Jennifer, you want to come on and ask this question? I'm not understanding some of your words. Is she still here? Jen? Let me see if I can do this. Do you still assess women in your head when you meet them? Let's start.
So that's more, so now it's more like, how would we look together? Could we be together in the future? As opposed to assessing her from a sexual aspect. It's more like, I don't want to assess a woman from a seductive aspect. You know, I want to assess a woman as far as the conversation, you know, the vibe, the chemistry, and it doesn't happen all like that quick, the vibe and chemistry. Maybe we go on another date. And are we building on something here? Can we build on something natural? And I don't want the relationship to be based on sex. I can't do that anymore because that's powerful, but it's like only part of the relationship when you're in the bedroom, you know, or on a couch or wherever you are. And after that, it's like, oh, what else do we have? We don't have anything after that, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I want to be able to communicate and talk and understand. I like talking now. I don't want to take turns talking. That's not communicating. So yeah, I do assess, but it's not from a sexual aspect. No.
I didn't really mean like
just like a woman should assess me. She should.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's like when you get in a house, when you buy in a house, they assess it and they charge you to assess the house. They give you a value, you know. So we evaluating each other, assessing each other. So we have a value on our relationship. Is it value? Do we value it? Is it valuable? Is it salvageable? Can we go to the next level? Exactly. So you should always assess any situation. Yeah.
Exactly. Jennifer, you are still very low. I'm not sure why. Do you have headphones in? You might want to. I don't know if that helps. I'm trying to understand the next part of your question. It says, even though you're only thinking, are you there? Oh, there you are. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So what I was saying was, not so much as when you're meeting somebody for relationship reasons, but like, are you ever like sitting in a crowd assessing folks, women, and in your head thinking, I could break her down if I wanted to, especially if it's somebody being like extra cocky and they see themselves as a person. Ain't nobody gonna get over on me, blah, blah, blah. I'm just wondering, because a chess master never forgets how to play chess, is what I'm saying.
Right. I never forget, but I don't do that now. It usually come to me naturally. Like you said, ain't nobody gonna, it would be like click, click, yeah, okay, or whatever. But now it's like, I don't even have the energy to like ramp up and be like, yeah, I want to see if I can break. No, I don't. But the chess master never forgets, right? But I don't want to use that because it's going to always be malicious. And using that, being malicious, whether I use it or not, there's going to be some type of payback from it. I don't want that. It's not just that I don't want the payback, but I don't have the heart and nerve to do that, to assess a woman and try to break her. I really don't. I ask for that to be removed from our spirit. I mentioned earlier, I asked for my friends to pray for me because I don't want to do that anymore. Even when I was doing it, it was like a thrill, but it's like it's work.
So you say you're not afraid of love anymore?
No, I'm not afraid. Right, No, I'm not afraid. You know why I was afraid to love? Because I didn't trust myself. I trust myself more now to get in a relationship and be committed. The only thing I worry about now is like, how much more am I gonna get paid back, you know? And it's like, but when it happens, I have to be prepared for it, because being open and honest and vulnerable and saying, hey, this is what I did, I can expect the next woman to be a great woman for me. I can expect God to say, okay, you good, you healed. Here you go, Leon. It ain't gonna work like that. You know, I'd be stupid to think that it's gonna work like that. He may keep me single for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't know. But I know I'm ready when she comes, you know.
Yeah, let's play it. Are you finished, Jennifer?
Don't finish. I was just saying that's good.
Yes, thank you. The great question. Tobias, let's play that video before we read the other question.
Beautiful wedding, everybody. Lovely wedding, lovely time, great time. Of course, I'm the best man, because I am the best man. I can't wait to get married.
I loved that video. I love that video. Like, I get it. I pray that your all the work that you've been doing, it's a lot of work. And actually, Angie just said something in the chat. She said, I don't have a question, but just want to say thank you so much, sir, for sharing so openly and transparently. And I think that's one of the first steps to healing.
It's one of the first steps. Well, first of all, yeah, you have to admit it. And then you have to want, rather in no particular order, you have to admit it, and then you have to want to get better. You have to want, you have to desire it. Just like I desired the lust and greed, desired all those women. You have the desire to not want that and desire to be better, and then help yourself and help people, you know, and want a healthy relationship. I never desired a healthy relationship. I didn't, not at all.
So what was that like, being the best man at your friend's wedding?
It was stressful. It was fun. It was cool. I had seen friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. And the reason why I said that in the video, I'm the best man because I'm the best man, they were questioning me all the time. These guys I grew up with. So it was like, y'all serious? Y'all joking? I just took it on. Let's go then. I'm the best man. Y'all, somebody had a problem with it, obviously, because we were all been friends since we were like 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I got chose, and I didn't want to be arrogant and cocky, but so I kept my mouth closed. They kept pushing my buttons, I'm like, look, let's just have some fun with it then. So yeah, it was fun. It was stressful. It was a lot of.
I mean, from like standing on that platform alongside your friend in support.
It was a good feeling. It was a really good feeling. It was like
the longing for, like, I want this to be me one day.
Yeah. I had at that night, that whole week, I had envisioned myself going through the things that he had gone through. I'm like, man, it's a good feeling to finally say, you know what, I got one woman, you know, I'm settling down, you know, I can do this. But that's how I looked at it. That's how I processed what he was going through. It wasn't like, ooh, I don't know about, you know, it was just a natural feeling of I want to be married one day, you know.
Awesomeness. Angie has her hands raised. Tobias, you can let her in. You want to come in? Angie, elevate life.
Can you hear? Yeah,
Yes.
It's not letting me. For some reason, I'm not able to turn my screen on.
Okay, Tobias, can you turn her screen on? I don't know what's happening. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to listen. I'm with the little one here. I'm hanging out with a 3-year-old, but I'm trying to listen as he's scooting around. As far as you saying I'm the best man, I obviously don't know you. I don't know anything. I just joined like 15 minutes ago. But I believe what you're saying. I have no reason. I'm sure people, women or whoever, men or women who hear your story, they're like thinking all kinds of crazy things.
Right.
Because it's human nature to judge and assume the worst. It's
right.
just kind of how, and I get it. But I believe, I'm like, this is great. I believe him.
Right.
When you sat in the little video and you're like, I'm the best man because I'm the best man, I didn't hear it in a self-righteous way. I'm going to assume the best about you because I have no reason not to.
Right.
Because somebody's history, I'm not scared of people's history or past. I don't need to be. So even though I'm hearing what you're saying, about your history, when I heard that, I'm like, yeah, he is the best man, because who you were when you said that, that's the best version of yourself that you have ever been.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not about a hierarchy that you're better. And I understand your friends were busting your balls or whatever, guys were doing whatever. However, when I'm hearing it, I'm like, yeah, like right now I can say I'm my best self. Like I'm the best Angie ever. Yeah, because that's true. Because that's true right now.
Right.
And then I can say that in a week and in a month and the same thing. So when I heard it, that's how I heard it. Like, yeah, you're the best version of yourself that you have been up to that point in your life. And then you can just keep saying that. Yes. And I think all of us can say the same thing, but
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So. Every day I'm working on myself.
Right.
People look at me and say, oh, you're just such a beautiful, sweet spirit. But no, there was a mean part of me, and I had to work on that. I had to work on those broken places and why there was so much anger, why there was so much bitterness. So we're always work in progress. Thank you so much for that.
I didn't look at it the way she said it. And it's not like my ego or anything like that, but I didn't look at the way she said it, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's how I heard it. I feel, and you know what? That's how the Lord heard it, because the Lord knows your heart.
Yeah.
And that your intention of your heart isn't to be boastful and to brag and that you ain't the salt of the earth. No, he is. But what it is, it's because you're coming into deeper level of your understanding of who you are.
Yeah.
So sometimes we say something that it might sound a little cocky to somebody else. That's why we just need to walk in our own truth. So I'm with you. I'm here for it. I am
too. I get it.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
You gotta celebrate each other.
Exactly.
Celebrate
exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thanks. So there was a question. I'm not quite sure I understand it, but I'm going to read it. Brett Gratt says, what does it mean when he talks about urges, or when he says, I don't know why I don't feel anything? If you keep asking for an answer, I'd only come up with a lie. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, Brett, can you clarify?
Probably the answer she gets from her man or husband, maybe.
Brett, can you expound or clarify that question? And then we'll come back to it.
Let's Char. So when I said, I don't know what I'm feeling, I don't know why I said this or said that, it's because I could not tell her the truth that I didn't want to be in a relationship or married anymore.
Okay.
That's me. And I know that's very hurtful, if that's what she's talking about, but I said that on numerous occasions. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I don't know why I can't express myself. It was a lie. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was feeling. I knew what I couldn't say. I just didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, but I didn't have the courage to say that. Plain as.
Okay. Britt did add to her comment. She said, yes, it's from my son's dad, who's a narcissist.
So he's saying that because he can't tell her the truth about him not wanting to be in a relationship anymore. He don't feel like he can maybe measure up. He's not in love. He doesn't know how to love. Taking time out to learn how to love things about her. He needs to go into therapy or talk to somebody that can help him. That's what it is. It's a lie. A grown man knows, well, I can't say that, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't. He knows what's wrong with him because he can get up and go to work. He knows if he got a headache, he can tell you, baby, I got a headache, my back hurt, my stomach hurt. He knows. So I lived that life for many years. It was just to end the conversation, to not want to talk about what I was really feeling. What I was really feeling is that I'm not in love with her anymore. I don't want to get married. I don't want to be married anymore. Hurtful, the truth. I get it. That's the truth. That was me.
Okay. She said, but he reels her in. He reels me in right when I'm okay with moving on.
No. She walks towards him.
Hey, accountability. Britt, yeah,
Period.
accountability.
I can only put a hook out there if I know it's a fish out there and I got something on the hook. If I know it's a hungry fish out there, an empath fish, a vulnerable fish, I put my hook out there, snag, and she'll come in. No, he didn't reel you in. You walk towards him, young ladies. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, she said, I thank you so much. You're the best, Leon. And Char, thank you for providing this platform for communicating. You're doing God's work. Got goosebumps.
Yeah,
You.
repent. I didn't know how to repent. I was fake with that. But once you're dealing with Leon, they can't reel you. They can only go as far as you allow them to.
Mm-hmm.
They're only as powerful as you give them. The more batteries you give them, the more energy and power they have. They stay alive. You start taking batteries out and you pull them out their back, they die. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So stop giving them batteries, stop giving them energy.
Right. Okay. Well, she added on some more, and this is good. This is actually a good one. Well, yeah, I run toward him because I don't want to move on for real. I'm struggling to accept that I have to. So it's like she's finding some. Britt, what was your I guess you have to go back and do the work about your childhood, why you feel like this is an acceptable relationship.
That goes back to what I was talking about. I become her drug. Women they love time in a relationship. They love memories. And then it's like, I put all this work in him and then we break up and she gets to enjoy the fruit of my labor. I'm sticking around. That's all. The memories, the time, and not wanting somebody else to enjoy the fruits of her labor. So they stick around. I don't tell people to leave their husband and wife, but I tell you this much, don't leave your damn self.
That's we're about to go in on that one. And that's where an empath has to, it almost feels selfish for an empath to think that way.
Well, yeah. No, I agree, but
No. I'm saying what you're saying is right. But to say, I'm going to walk away and love myself, sometimes it's hard for an empath to think that way because they feel like it's being selfish.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, I don't want to see him suffer. I feel bad. Now, I haven't talked to him in a week and I see his post, he's so sad. And they reel you in and they turn around and do the same thing and spit in your face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. She said, my first husband got murdered and this baby daddy moved in during my grief and ghosted me while pregnant. I'm coming out of a fog and devastated that it was never real and it was all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. You don't deserve that. And if you are true to yourself and you take to heart the things that Leon has been sharing, protect your heart and do what you need to do starting now. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Right. Start now and pray on it, sleep on it, and wake up tomorrow and start being a different person. Don't go back to that hurt person, stomach aches, curl up in the ball, high blood pressure, headaches. Don't stop that now.
Yes. Anybody else have any questions? Do we have any more questions, Tobias? All right, well, let's talk about let's play the next screen and allow Leon to talk about his book. This is powerful. I cannot wait to get my hand on this. You wanna explain? You wanna describe or?
Yeah.
About it?
Let me know when you're ready.
Ready whenever you are.
So, a friend of mine sent me the book, The 5 Love Languages, about 2 years ago, and I had it. And up until last year, I hadn't read it. And so I came home one day and it was sitting on my couch and I started reading it. And after maybe 5 minutes, I put it down. I was like, wow, 5 Love Languages, very powerful book. It's very popular. And so God gave me an idea to write a book, the opposite of the 5 love languages. I didn't want to call it the 7 loveless languages, the 7 loveless, I didn't want to do that. So I came up with the 7 loveless traits to be the opposite. And so I talk about the 7 loveless traits. I added 2 more, But for instance, this book will be out in December. So for instance, you have a love language is acts of service. For a narcissistic person, a sociopath, psychopath, whoever they are, their loveless language would be acts of disservice. Okay. Another love language is physical touch. Untouched, not kissing. So that's a loveless language that of a Leon, you know. Words of affirmation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Words of affirmation. So a loveless trait for me would be words of condemnation. Okay. Communication is a love language. A Leon would have no communication, bad communication, broken communication. So it goes on and on. I did 7 of them. I also talked about my childhood in the book. I talk about how it began for me. I also talk about, I drew up a certificate for those that are in therapy and then going to rehab. You deserve people to celebrate with you. So there's a certificate that will come with the book. It'll probably be on my website so they can print it out and as they go through their therapy and rehabilitation. Have a kid or loved one or girlfriend present you a certificate over wine, over dinner.
Yeah.
Showing that you've gotten over a Leon and now you enjoy your life. So that's pretty much the book in itself. It's a lot in there. It's like 450 pages.
Wow. We're going to have to I do a book club or something on this. This is going to help a lot of people.
I hope so.
I know so. I know so. Let's talk about things. Let me see what is she. Let's talk about closure. Is that, well, what can you say about that on your journey? How did you find closure?
By, first of all, realizing, because I blocked myself out for many years. I knew what I was doing. People like me know what the hell they're doing. My closure came when I realized that I started to be alone and lonely. I fought it for years. I was like, even though I was dating women, I was with somebody, I didn't feel like I was connected to them, or I didn't allow them to connect to me. So they had to be lonely. If I'm like feeling like this, like if something is off, if this woman loves me and I'm not feeling like I'm loving her, then she has to be lonely. I started educating myself on why I was the way that I was. And even in therapy is when it all came out. I had to get that understanding. My therapist told me to stop dating. She said, you just need to stop dating. She told me that. And no one had ever told me that before. And I couldn't imagine not dating women anymore. I just like, no. But she said, you're destroying women. You're destroying relationships. You're unhealthy mentally. So you just need to stop. And I had never heard that before. I didn't even know what to do. Like, so do I stop calling them? Do I stop looking at them? She said, yeah, just don't do anything relationship-wise anymore. And so that was the beginning of my closure for who I was and who I wanted to stop being. But first, I had to get into Leon.
Yeah.
Okay, and figure out why I was acting the way that I was acting. Afraid to love, lying, no eye contact. Didn't want to have deep conversations about where are we going with this relationship, Leon? Been together for years. Are you going to marry me? Well, I don't want to hear that because I don't want to say no. And also she's gone. I lose her to another man. I couldn't take that, which it ultimately happened because I was wasting women's time. So I would never admit to that. I'm like, I'm not wasting your time. You know, you can leave if you want to. I don't care. You know, I would say that. And so my closure was letting go of my past, my childhood issues, my childhood trauma. Stop blaming everything on my uncle, my cousins, my babysitter, because I was living a life that they wanted me to live and not the life that I could have been living. So I allowed them to take the little boy away and just take me down this deep, dark path. And I kept going. I was angry at who? Them. They had been dead for years, but I was still holding on. That was just an excuse for me to be narcissistic, to be manipulative, to be vindictive, to be seductive. Okay, that was an excuse because I enjoyed those traits more than anything. Like I said, the norm was abnormal to me. Abnormal was normal. I didn't want to be normal because normal was boring to me. but it was killing me to be abnormal. It was a sickness, and I wasn't representing my parents well enough. And so I said, and a lot of things went through my head. My closure was just, can I apologize? Can I say I'm sorry? I had to find a new me, and I had to start liking a new me, because the old me was, I was sooner or later probably going to die. I had already had a heart attack in 2013. So it was, something else was to come for me, and I didn't get myself together. Rather be alone or in a relationship, I had to get myself together with God and find a new life, you know, see things differently through the lens of from a hurt man to a healed man to a helping man, you know. And so I enjoy now helping people. People always say, narcissistic people, you can't be this, whatever. If you believe in God, you can change, period.
Yeah.
We weren't created. I wasn't created to be a narcissist at all.
Right.
So I can go back to how I was created. The creator created this other person. Now, so I don't believe in that they can't change. I don't believe that. I'm living proof I can do it. But you have to want it. Sorry, you have to want it. So that was my closure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I wrote a song titled Closure, and I thought it was appropriate and fitting to play that during the show. My 23-year marriage ended, and I didn't want to let go because I'm a very committed person. It was like till death do us part. So I had no intentions of leaving my marriage, but we were both very unhealthy. There was a lot of truths that I didn't know about my own life. I can't just blame him. So I've been on this journey for 12 years on my own, working on me, working on my broken places. But it was hard for me to move on because I know I had to move on from him. And so we've been divorced for 12 years. And oh, well, let's flip that. Let's flip that, Tobias. I'm sorry. I'm kind of thrown off this. But I think it's fitting because we may want to talk about that a little bit, especially with Britt and what she shared. She's got to find closure herself. Britt, are you in counseling at all? I don't know how, Tobias, is she still online? Well, let's see if she answers. Tobias, are you able to make that change to play the song now? Called Closure. Get the album cover by chance.
I remember when we fell in love. There was no me without.
Oh, we're having a little tech issue. That's okay. I think Britt said yes, she's been in therapy. I'm happy to hear that. Stay there, and I mean, don't hesitate to reach out. You know, like Leon was saying, surround yourself with healthy people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's trying again. Here we are.
I remember when we fell in love. There was no me without you. Gave you my heart till death do us part. We made our vows to each other, but I can't love you with a broken heart. I've cried and I've tried to mask the pain with my smile. Baby, I'm so sorry. We gave Baby, where did we go wrong? Why am I singing this sad song? Closure. It's my stubborn heart won't let you go. Won't let you, won't let you, won't let you go. I need closure. I stayed too long for everything I did wrong. Only thought that we would be together, living happily forever. What in the hell have we done? But I can't love you with a broken heart. I've cried and I've tried to mask the pain with a smile. You love me, you hate me, you can't live without me. We gave it a try, now let's say goodbye. I need closure. Baby, where did we go wrong? Why am I singing this sad song? Closure. 'Cause my stubborn heart won't let you go. Won't let you, won't let you, won't let you go. I need closure. What more can I give when I gave it my all? Gave you my best, but it ain't good enough. They say time heals, but we ain't getting better. I've gotta move on. I've gotta move on. Closure. Baby, where did we go wrong? Why am I singing this sad song? Closure. My stubborn heart won't let you go. Won't let you, won't let you, won't let you go. I need closure.
That gets me every time. That gets me every time. You're unmute yourself. Oh, let's see. Is that me? Are you unmuted?
Just did it. Can you
There
hear
you
me?
are. I can hear you now. Woo! Yeah. Tell me, what was it like for your wife? What was it like? I mean, how are you guys now for your ex-wife?
We're cool. I'm cool with everybody that I was with. Maybe except a couple, but my wife and I are cool. We said we have 2 sons together, and I don't know how she dealt with me for 12 years. I have no idea. 12 years, I couldn't deal with a woman like me for 12 hours. It ain't gonna happen. And I know 3 women like me that I've dated, and I think they are disgusting.
So a narcissist with a narcissist.
Yes, they are pretty women, strong, but disgusting. I would never, ever, And I seeing them and thinking about my wife, how she dealt with me, those women, I couldn't do it, would not do it. And they're nice looking women. They have great jobs, would not I would not touch them with your hands. Okay.
Wow.
I see how women look at me like, you are disgusting. They're right. They're right.
Wow.
And these three women, one was in therapy, two were in therapy, and one wasn't. And it's like, I really like seeing them, and it's like, I see now, I'm like, how do women deal with me? Even after they know that something was wrong, but they couldn't put the finger on it, but I knew. But there's no way I could ever date a woman like me. It ain't gonna happen.
And those women are broken too. And I do pray that they find their way.
But you know the common denominator for three of those women that I cannot respect is that the fact all three of them have an issue with their mother. One I've been knowing since I was 14. Two I've been knowing since I was 14. One I met 2 years ago. They all have issues with their mother. And I know their mothers, and their mothers are cool women. I like their mothers. Like the mothers better than I like them. I would never, ever date either one of them, ever.
So it's funny that you say that you like their mothers. You couldn't see the narcissistic traits in them, but you don't like the daughters.
Right.
Interesting.
I can see the traits in the daughters, but
you know, it's funny that you say that, because my ex-husband is still very close to my mother, but my mother's not close to me.
So we have a tendency to latch on to the mothers. I did. Because I did the video saying that I have mommy issues. I miss my mother. So I would look for my mother in either the ladies that I dated or their mother.
Right.
I was 100% chance I'm gonna find in one of them.
Wow.
And most times when I found in their mother, that the mother and the daughter didn't get along. So there was an issue there. But I'm like, look, I ain't trying to sleep with your mother. You know, I like your mother cool, but they didn't like the fact I liked their mother because they didn't like their mother. That happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Britt, let me read her last two comments. Britt says, I think my closure will be in accepting that as much as I believe that everyone is intrinsically good, some people aren't tapped into that side of themselves and don't want to be.
Exactly. The key thing is they don't want to be. As long as you have intrinsically tapped into your side and you're taking care of me, why should I tap into my side? It ain't gonna happen. And I know as an empath, you're not going away. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be there for me. You're going to be loyal. And you're going to be very reliable because that's what makes you move.
And
it's
she
sad,
said, it is. She said, my son will have a void I can't fill as long as I stick around and block opportunities to find someone who'd be willing to love me correctly and fill in. I'm giving myself time to heal first.
That's right. Because when you know what I tell women and men, when you get out of a relationship like that with a Leon, the first thing you get when you're healing is your vision. You come back to see me and I might look ugly as hell to you. And you go, ooh, I let him sleep with me? Or I let him control me? Yeah. So I tell women when they really truly heal, they get their vision first.
Yes.
So you can see, and then it goes to your soul. You're like, wow, and then it, now you won't have that problem. But go out and don't fight temptation. Let things happen. Don't double back on it for this person. But don't, like fight so much that you're like, oh, I need to see him next week. It's killing me. These withdrawals. You got to go through those withdrawals because I had become a drug to you. So now you got to get over that. Yeah. But every time you go back, you come back to me, the drug addiction becomes more and more intense. And I know that.
Oh my God. Yes, that makes so much sense. I think, and as an empath, I've had to also acknowledge that I am not God. I can't save people. I don't have the ability to. I can be here to love people, to be kind to people, to help people, but I cannot save everyone. It's not in my place to do that. So it's easy for me now just to let go.
Right.
Let go. Yes. Marva Williams says that song was beautiful, CHAR, Closure. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it. It's on all digital outlets, so listen to it as often as you like and share it with whoever you think would be blessed by it. Britt says, he said that I'm in Illinois and want to move to Texas. And he literally said, you're not going anywhere.
Wow. She better be careful with that. She better be very careful with that. If she listens, she'll lose. She's already lost control because he felt like he could say that to her. So she better be very careful and get the hell out of Illinois.
Hey, you know what? I feel like we need to say a prayer. We need to cover you, Britt. All right, I'm going to do that now. God of love and God of peace and God of life, we thank you for this wonderful conversation today. We thank you for Leon, who you have been doing such an amazing work in him, because he wants to be well, he wants to be whole, and he's leading by example, letting people know that change and healing is possible. And God, I pray for those who are watching, those who are listening tonight, that you would cover them. And even as Britt is sharing her story, God, whatever plans or the mindset of her boyfriend, God, I pray that you cover her and her children. Give her the strength and the guidance that she needs to get out of that relationship as soon as possible. Open doors for her so that she can start experiencing new life the way that you want her to live her life, the way you ordained it. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, beautiful people. We have 3 minutes before 9 o'clock. Anybody have anything they want to say before we go? Leon, thank you so much again for being here. This was a wonderful conversation. And these are conversations that need to be had more often, you know?
Yeah, and so it's like, it's not that I get pushback from men, but I don't get a lot of them like support. If I was putting women down, I'll blow up. I ain't doing it. I don't do it for numbers. I do it because I have a gift to help people.
That's right.
And I'm ruin this gift, I'm not going to lose it.
That's
So
right.
yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I get information throughout the night from God. When I sleep, it comes boom, 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 boom. When I wake up, boom, 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 all throughout the day. Yeah, so I'm not worried about it. As long as I'm helping people and I'm telling the truth, people challenge me. Oh, you just running game. This one lady, it's a black lady. She said, oh, you just running game. You're such a narcissist. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to send grace to you from God like God extends grace for me. But before I do that, I said, you just don't. This is a young lady. I didn't even respond. I said, you know what? I did respond. I was very professional. But those people like that claim to be Christians and then they want to, first of all, judge me, call me out of my name, and tell 2 lies on me, all in a few sentences. And she says, I'm a woman of God. You can't be.
Right.
Extend your grace to me, love me, help me, but don't lie on me, because I'm not running game on anybody. I'm not making videos to elicit some type of response. I'm not doing that. That's what she said. It's a black woman. And it really hurt my feelings, because I said, you know what? I've heard a lot of things, but then she pops up. You're such a narcissist, blah, 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 blah. I see you. No, you don't. You don't see me. You see somebody else. You don't see Leon. And I can face her. I can go in church and face people. I can stand in the pulpit and talk to people and make my confession. I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to get struck down. I'm not going to fall down. I'm not going to get hurt, because I'm telling the truth. I could have never done this years ago.
Right.
I don't things up. When God came and got me through a woman that was close to God and said, here you go, Leon. Boop, here you go. See you later, buddy. Do good. That was my, not my choice, but that was my journey. That was my calling. That was my assignment.
And you answered. A lot of people don't answer. We all have the same opportunity to be well, but a lot of people don't answer. So stay the course.
Not easy.
No.
I have to post a video, think about it, put it together, say thank you, answer questions on IG, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I've been doing this for 15 months straight.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.